Welcome, everybody. We are interviewing Patty this week, who was unfortunately voted out of the last episode. He goes by many names in this show. He was Posturing Patty. He was Hurricane Patricia. Today he's Patty Cakes. But we'd like to introduce Patty to you all. Hello, Patty. How's it going?
Very well. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Pretty good. I guess
Good.
I don't think you've been keeping up with it. Or at least I don't know if you've been keeping up with the episodes, but have you?
Nonchalantly, my wife has been privy to these. I can hear her listening to them in the morning, and I'll just hear her start laughing, and she'll be like, "Oh, you're a fucking asshole. You're stupid. You're rude." It's hilarious.
Well, usually when I start these interviews, I ask about the teammates and see if your opinions of them.
Okay.
We'll start with Team Ronan. We'll go ahead and start with Dede, who you were pretty close to during this show. What are your thoughts on Dede?
I like we bonded quickly and almost immediately. I don't think she trusted me at first because I had some reservations about her being quiet and stuff. And her and Q, I thought they were both quiet and kind of suspicious at first, but those kind of emotions kind of melted away very quickly, and I bonded with her probably the most. I did watch the video the other day when she's like, he has Ice Cube tattooed on his fucking wrist. That was the shit right there. So yeah, she was good shit, and yeah, I enjoyed working with her.
How about Carrie with a C, who was also kind of quiet?
Carrie with the C, was that the one who changed teams on us and
Yeah.
got eliminated? I didn't know her well enough to form an opinion. I'm sure she's a great person, but she made that decision that ultimately did her in. You know what I mean?
And how about Q?
Q, I like Q. I still keep in contact with her, D, and Alex. And Q is good. She's a straight shooter, and no complaints here from this side.
I guess that leaves Carrie with a K, who had her issues with you.
Oh, yes, she did. I don't know if she learned how to make a mimosa by now, but hopefully with my tutorial video, she was able to pull through and actually make a decent mimosa.
Why do you think Carrie felt the way she did about you? Because there was really nothing that happened other than you missing the first challenge, I guess.
I don't know. I like her hard on for me was just like kind of disturbing. It kept me up at night, and I was just like, holy fuck, what's this lady have for me? But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I reminded her of a schoolmate or something who bothered the shit out of her, and she just didn't like me. I don't know. I don't know what her problem was with me. You can only leave it up to speculation at this point. But I did notice though, when the contacts were handed out between all of us contestants, she was the only one who didn't share her information with me. So that sweetheart right here, that's fine. No hard feelings.
So I guess I'll turn it over to the three of you if you have any questions for Patty. I'm sure Fan Guy does.
I got tons of questions. Patty, first of all, I think you are most people, you're in there one of the few favorites of this season for sure. You have a lot of good one-liners. You have a lot of life experience that I think a lot of these contestants don't have, and like they don't know how to take it sometimes. I think it intimidates people. What do you think? So my first question for you, because I always kind of mention this on the podcast, is like you always talk about yourself like you're such a target. But I don't think you were a lot of that time that you, and maybe you brought some of that onto yourself. What do you think, like what made you feel like you were such a big target? Because it was only Carrie that seemed to be doing that really. So what was kind of going on with you? Because you kept saying over and over in the episodes that you felt like a target. So I was just kind of wondering, like, what made you feel that way?
See, like for me, I've always considered myself a straight shooter and very honest and open. So, that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And, that thing with Carrie and all that backwood sniping that they were doing initially kind of raised my radar. And I always knew, I every day that I made it past not getting eliminated for showing up for the first day's challenge, I always thought that would be held against me. That's why I always watch my back. And, I knew it could be time at any time. So I pulled the gloves off and just started knocking heads as soon as I could. You know what? That's how I handled it.
Patty, first off, I'm a little starstruck here. You are one of my favorites in the game. I was sad to see you go. I hope you add me on Instagram because I want to see what your life is like out there. And
You know, amazingly, it's pretty boring.
I don't believe
it
that.
doesn't sound like it. It doesn't
COVID-19
sound
thing.
like it. My question for you is, as far as
you want to know what?
oh, go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. I was rude, so please finish your question. I'm sorry.
Good. As far as competitions go in the game, which was your favorite, and which do you think were kind of a crapshoot that anybody could win?
See, for me, I'm like a savant with useless information. It's crazy. Like, I cleaned house with one of those trivia challenges, and they're like, how the hell were you like that? Everything else, like the video games and the challenges like that, I ran in the mid 50%, you know, but useless trivia and stuff like that, I'm one of those Stephen Hawking's kind of guys where you can't touch me with trivia. But other than that, can you repeat the question? I went off on a tangent, and I'm sorry.
What was your favorite competition during the game, and which do you think was mainly a crapshoot that anybody could win? Which you kind of already answered.
My favorite Yeah, but my favorite competition probably was that helicopter game, the one that drove me insane. That thing was such a bad design. The trigger and everything, and the controls are so glitchy. I actually played that, and I also played the numbers game for probably about 3 weeks after I was eliminated. And those two by far were probably my favorite challenges. The crapshoots were, I guess, was any game, you know, because it was a popularity contest as well. So if you didn't place in the top 2 and got any kind of immunity, I just think it was a crapshoot for every game. So, you know, the helicopter game and that other one was my favorite, and probably the trivia for the most part.
Well, I guess it's my turn. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, is the Patty, the player from the Himalayas, as I like to call you.
Wow, that's such a regal name for such a boring person. Thank you.
Stop it! You way too humble, man. With the Ice Cube tat, I knew I was gonna like you. So I guess my question is, how many of those challenges were you high and or maybe had a shot for? You know, like, and how do you feel like that helped or hurt your game?
Okay, first of all, I say no to drugs. Drugs aren't cool. So I did have a few drinks plenty of times. So yeah, and every competition. And did it impair me? I just drank enough to take the edge off for the most part, and sometimes that edge was really up there. So yes, it did hurt me inevitably, but you know what? Hell, life is short, and I had fun. So if it hurt me, it hurt me. If it didn't, I'm still the same person when I wake up tomorrow.
You said the shot helped you during the map game, though. Was that true?
Actually, you know, I had this delusion of grandeur where I was going to go into this game and Google image this shit about 30 minutes prior to it. And God damn it, you picked some great images because Google didn't do shit for me. So I'm frantically, I'm on my phone and on my laptop and another device trying to look up these images while the game are going. So I want to say about 25% of those were educated guesses, and the other 75% where I just threw it in the wind and just guessed, and it worked out well for me. You just got to look for the clues and the makes and models of cars and the sign shops and stuff. And those are the clues I followed. I had no clue going into that map challenge or all those city challenges. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a hard one. But...
It was the shot. You can say it. It's all good.
Patty, I'm curious, as far as this season goes, do you consider yourself a villain or a hero?
You know, I consider myself as somebody who played the role that they had to play at the time. I want to say I was a chameleon. Like, a almost like a prankster type person. That's what I want to say I was. And I like you guys said, I had one-liners and stuff. I just basically went with the flow and just went with the, you know, the stand-up comedy routine. And, you know, and I guess it worked out well for me to a certain point until I got eliminated.
I have a question, Patty, about the recent the thing that just showed you and Meg talking in the jury, that when it was just the two of you, that just aired. So it looked like in that exchange you were really bitter at Dot, but you weren't bitter at Alex, and it felt like they both kind of did you dirty. And so I was just kind of curious as to why you seem bitter towards Dot but not towards Alex, when they really kind of did the same
I
thing.
mean, I disagree that he was bitter towards Alex at that time, but go ahead.
He didn't seem bitter when he talked to Meg. I mean,
well, I mean, he did talk
okay.
about the fucked her too.
Let
So
him explain. Jeez.
for Meg though, seriously, for Meg, I knew I had to be a snake handler with her. I had to keep my hands with outside of biting distance from her, because I knew as soon as I got my hand in too close, that snake was gonna snap my ass and I was dead. So I had to do that. I had to do what was necessary with her. As for Dot, Dot seems greasy to me. I don't know if my observations are off, but there's always some like red flags for me with character traits, and he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sure he's a great person in real life, but Alex, I had a soft spot from him from early on in the competition. I don't know why I seem bitter towards other people, but when Alex pulled the Judas move on me, I was kind of hurt for a couple of days, and it did keep me up, and I had weird dreams and shit after I was eliminated, and it was weird. It was an ego push that, you know, it took me a couple weeks to deal with, but I kind of stepped back out of my head and I realized it was just a game. And, you know, I'm still keeping in contact with him as well, you know, and I think he's very talented, and I admire what he's doing right now.
Would you vote for a snake in the end?
Would I vote for a snake in the end? I would vote for the person who I thought was most suitable for the win. You know, all things aside, I had to actually just step out of my head and think about who would be the best winner. But whether it be a snake or a piranha, whatever, I'll vote for them.
Any other questions? Van guy.
Come on, hit me with some more questions. This is fun. It's been a while since I've done it.
I'm kind of with Dazed. I'm a little starstruck because you were definitely one of my favorite players, dude. Like straight up. Like I just thought you were interesting. You had a lot of like interesting outlook. I think people underestimated you because you were kind of a prankster and a jokester, and you know, you had a lot more going on than I think people gave you credit for. I mean, would you say that that's fair? Because even Jake kind of made cracks to you about your calculator, but your calculator freaking worked. So like,
yeah,
who's, you know, like, what's up, Jake?
You're not a part-time statistician, are you?
I did play with stats in college quite frequently. I messed. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I those were dark days, but yes, it's funny in retrospect. My stats were pretty accurate, don't you think?
Huh?
They were, with a couple of calculation errors, but they were pretty spot on. They were within 10 to 12% error rate. But as for Fanguy asking me that, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just been a mind screw the whole time. So I can't answer that question with a fair assessment.
So I
That
guess
in itself is a fair assessment of the mind fuck that is these games sometimes.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, it is. And Jake to me, he's so hard to describe, but I don't know. I don't want to attack his IQ because it's pretty low, but it's okay. But he was like listening. He was just like the whole time, and I couldn't. He drove me crazy the most. But I like the guy. Other than that, but you know, we got to accept each other for our flaws and our character issues. So I still love you, Jake.
Aspen, you had a question.
Oh yeah. Well, not me. Fuck Jake the Snake. I'm not Team Jake. So
No, it's Jake Unawake. That's what I call him.
oh, okay. I like that. So yeah, what was the coded message to Alex?
Good question. I was going to ask that later.
Oh, I tried to play it like stupid, like to Nick that I was my Japanese lessons were kicking in. It was actually a message to Alex in Chinese.
It worked the first time. I didn't think it was Japanese. It didn't.
No, it was Chinese, and it was kind of let to know Alex that I was onto him, and
Ooh.
Oh.
yeah, so it was one of those cryptic things in Chinese, and he didn't catch it because he wasn't really listening, but he knew it was Chinese, so. That was my way of just saying, you know what, I got you. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Patty, would you ever come back and play another one of these?
Oh, hell yeah. You know, I would totally change my game style. I would be total missionary position and vanilla. And I would just play it so lame. I would just play mild manner Patty next time around.
I hope the posture would come out at some point.
It will. And I just totally lied to you. I would just go out in a flaming ball of shit. I think this time around, I would hold nothing back.
Is it hard to stick to a strategy in general in one of these games? Like you say, you'd come in as mild mannered Patty, but what's the chances of you actually being able to stick to that and not go off in some other way?
I think you already know the answer to that. I would hold on to that format probably for about 6 to 8 minutes. Then I would have another Jake or Dot come in on the season, and I would just have to rip some new assholes on this one, I think. But I will try to be as mild mannered and as devious as ever. But you know, if I do get invited, it would be a huge blessing, and I wouldn't mind that at all.
I think everybody wants to see you back.
I would agree with
Oh,
that.
I'll have new strategies. It won't be lame, I promise you. It'll be the new improved pot stirring Patty.
And I would like to point out that actually Dot's wife was rooting for you, just in case you wanted to know.
Wife was rooting for me? No
Yes.
shit.
Yep.
Okay,
She
so
was
I
Team Patty all
apologize
the
what I
way.
said. I apologize what I said about your husband. Just have him bathe in dish soap to get the greasiness off him, I guess. Use some. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure she's a great woman for putting up with him.
So I want to go, I guess, we'll go to the Q for a second when you and Q had a little falling out because of the vote for Carrie. Did you always plan on keeping your word to her, or did she kind of like try and make you do it?
Carrie pissed the shit out of me. God, I don't know what it was about her, but yeah, I did pull some snake oil salesman stuff and got her eliminated. So that falling out with her, I think she realized eventually that, you know, it had to go in that direction because she was cancer to our team at that point. So I did what was best, what I thought for our team, and I'm sure Q understands. She must, because she texted me today and asked me to make it to the podcast. So I'm Team Q, and I'm sure she's over it by now.
But I'm just saying, did you always plan on targeting Meg after that happened?
Oh, hell yeah. I told everybody I was going to take out Meg. I even said I would trade myself in for Meg. So I did what I had to do, and I knew what was going on. So, you know, when you make a deal with the devil, eventually you have to pay up. And I paid up. And I'm 100% okay with that. I took her out. So I think Q took some credit for that initially because she said something about it. But I'm the one who really took Meg out.
Any other questions?
I have one not pertaining to the game.
Okay.
Patty, you're a chef, right?
Yes, sir.
As somebody who likes food, I want to know what your favorite dish to make is.
Oh, you really want to know?
Yeah, I do.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this shit? I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
Oh my God.
with flamos. That's it.
With what?
And it's got to be with a little bit of salted butter in there and a mixture of grape jelly and strawberry jelly. Lightly toasted. That's it.
That was, yeah.
I know it's disappointing. It's disappointing, but I do make some mean pork tacos.
Mm.
This is
I
your guys'
know it's lame.
last chance to ask Patty a question. He was a favorite, so you better get your questions in while you can.
So I guess we're so you live in Hawaii, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do you feel like if you wouldn't have missed the first challenge, your game would have went different? I mean, what do you think about that?
What do I think about living in Hawaii or just the time change thing?
I guess both.
Yeah, pretty much the time change. Carrie with a case and
Oh,
you
that
didn't
time.
know the time zones.
Yeah, she's yeah. Anyway, Hawaii's great, and the time zones are great. So we'll just say that. And there's a lot of water here. We're surrounded by it. A
Okay.
lot of sunshine too.
Watch any reality shows or anything like this, Patty? You have any like guilty pleasure TV shows like that are like this?
You know what my guilty pleasure is right now? I don't really watch reality shows, and I think it's kind of refreshing not to watch it. But I binge watched all 7 seasons of Chicago PD about 3 weeks ago, and imagine fitting like 70 hours with a movie or airtime in like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm hooked on Bosch right now, and which is a detective series as well. It's a little slower than Chicago PD, but as for reality shows, I actually enjoyed The Circle. The Circle was pretty interesting. I loved it and actually applied for season 2, but with this COVID nonsense, they canceled it. So live to fight another day, I guess. So other than that, I don't watch TV too often. In the past 3 weeks, I probably watched 1 hour of TV, and that was to set up my TV with the new cable box. That was it.
So have you ever seen Survivor? Do you have a favorite Survivor player or just not a fan of the show?
Oof, now you're asking the tough questions. No, I never watched Survivor. Honestly, I haven't. I know it's lame, isn't it?
I mean,
That's been so disappointing.
But you know what?
You just lost points, Patty. Just lost your points.
But you know what? I live in fucking Hawaii. Every day is being Survivor here. The cost of living here is insane. It's like $9 for a gallon of milk, $8 for eggs,
Damn.
$6 for butter, $9 for bread. So every day Survivor here. So I don't need to watch that fake shit. They'll do the real thing. You know what I mean?
That is true. How did you get to Hawaii? Like, what are you doing out there? How are you surviving? How do you afford $9 for fucking milk?
I swam here, number one. That took a lot on me. Me and Michael Phelps were swim buddies in college, so he was way better than me, obviously. No, actually, I flew in economy class here in 2014. And how do I survive? You have to be very resourceful here. I grow a lot of my own vegetables and stuff. I run with the right people. I say my daily affirmations every day, saying that money comes to me, and it does. So there's no strategy, just like in the game. So I'm pretty blessed running with the right people, and I've been very taken care of. Way better than I was in Wisconsin.
Patty, I tried to guess who said they've been punched in the mouth a lot, and I got it right. I figured you were a street fighter in Hawaii at some point in your life. How many times have you actually been punched in the face, and what's the story behind it?
Well, I've had my nose broken 3 times. I'm not a street fighter. I'm more like a veal calf, actually. I don't like to fight, and I will fight if I have to. But I had my nose broken first when I was 5 years old. I jumped down the laundry chute at my house.
Oh my God.
And my mom did laundry that morning unbeknownst to me, and I hit my face on the laundry basket. That was the first time I broke my nose. The second time was doing some stupid BMX trick at a construction site, and I smashed my face, and I did get punched in the face the last time. But I'm not a street fighter. There's far better things to do than fight. I'm in my 40s. I'm getting too old to hang with those young bucks. So I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I will turn your ass if I have to. But yeah, violence is not the.
Would you like
violence
to
is not
talk
the answer.
about Meg using her power to run from tribal council, as you put it?
Oh my God, that was a mind fuck for me. That was just like, I'm like, where is the justice with this shit? And you know, it was very trying for me, but it was all a learning experience. So if I ever get invited back, I'm totally gonna play my strategy with that backwoods shit way better. I promise you that.
Noted.
Yes, duly noted, my friend.
Well, any last questions before I play the last game with Patty? All right,
Patty,
Patty.
thanks for being you, man.
Yes, I
You're a
agree.
cool cat, and
Thank
we
you.
fucking
You know,
love watching you.
You know what's funny about it? I just went in and tried to be honest. I wasn't trying to score any points or be a fan favorite. I didn't even know this until Nick told me like 2 weeks ago. And I showed my wife the email. I'm like, oh shit. So my wife started watching all the episodes, and I told Nick I wasn't gonna watch this shit once it was over with. So to kind of hear that was kind of funny. So wow, bonus points for me, and it's awesome. Thank you, fan guy.
Yeah, man.
Well, lastly, I tend to play a game where I just name a person in the game and you have to describe them in one word, the first word that comes to mind when I
Okay.
say their name.
Okay.
I will start with, we'll go ahead and start with Dot.
Greasy.
Alex.
Shady.
Elizabeth.
Vanilla.
Hassan.
Mystery.
Jake.
Slow.
Rayleigh.
Oof. Can I use hot-headed as one? Is that 2 words or is it 1?
That works. There's a hyphen,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Meg.
Swindler.
Ooh.
Q.
Empowered.
Dede.
Awesome.
And Carrie with a K.
I can't say this word, so it's cheers. How's that?
Well, Patty, I want to thank you for joining us and thank you for playing because you are great television.
I thank you for the opportunity, and it was a great learning experience, and I look forward to even stirring the pot in the future if you guys have me back. If not, I'm just going to go back to being lame Patty and live my life. And if any of you guys want to hit me up, you got my contact information. I respond to my emails very quickly, and I'm not an asshole like that. So I keep it down to earth. I keep it straight. You guys want everyone to come out here? I'll give you the King's treatment. I've already offered that to you, Nick. You never took me up on it, but
One of these
you
days.
will, man. And you know, I'm just gonna go back to being lame and everyday Patty. So that's me.
Well, I think you're a national treasure, and I will definitely hope to have you back on another game in the future.
A national treasure. Am I up there with like all the national parks or like Fort Knox or?
I would put you up there with like, higher than some of those.
I'm actually closer to the sewage treatment plants of the country, so. So to say I'm a national treasure, that's a great thing, and I'm happy for that, and I'm very grateful for that descriptor. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all. We have to go do the rest of the podcast, but I will see you all later. Patty, I will stay in touch.
All right. Until next time, my friends, you guys have a wonderful day and stay safe, whatever that means. I guess that's the new normal to say that. So fuck it. Let's go. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye.
See
Take
ya.
care, guys.
Thanks, man.